The Marvel Cinematic Universe used to feel unstoppable. For over a decade, it delivered hit after hit, building toward Infinity War and Endgame in a way that kept audiences excited for the next chapter. But once Endgame wrapped up that massive story, something shifted. Fans started noticing the movies weren't landing the same way. The hype wasn't as strong, and the overall quality felt uneven. It wasn't just one thing more like a bunch of small issues piling up until people couldn't ignore them anymore. One of the biggest challenges the MCU faced after Endgame was its own success. When a franchise nails a once-in-a-generation payoff, it sets expectations sky high. Fans naturally want that same emotional weight and build-up every time, and anything that feels smaller or disconnected suddenly seems less important. The new characters introduced after Endgame didn't have the same long history with audiences, so viewers weren't as invested in them right away. It wasn't their fault, but it made the transition tough. Another problem was the amount of content Marvel started releasing. Between multiple movies and a wave of Disney Plus shows, it became harder for casual fans to keep up. Before Endgame, watching every film felt manageable. After it, following the universe began to feel like doing homework. Some people just tapped out. Even the die-hard fans felt spread thin, trying to understand how all the new stories were supposed to connect. And when the connections didn't feel clear, the motivation to watch everything dropped. Quality control also became an issue. When Marvel expanded so fast, the production schedule for visual effects teams turned into a nightmare. VFX artists spoke up about being given unrealistic deadlines, and the results showed. Some movies had unfinished-looking CGI or scenes that felt rushed. Audiences noticed that stuff, especially when they're used to Marvel's usual polish. It didn't help that some storylines felt experimental in ways that didn't always land. Marvel tried new tones, some more comedic, some more cosmic, some more grounded, but the overall universe lost the cohesive feeling it once had. The multiverse concept was another mixed bag. It's cool in theory, and it definitely gives writers room to explore wild ideas. But bouncing between universes, timelines, and variants created confusion for a lot of people. Instead of building toward one clear villain like Thanos, Marvel now had multiple plotlines happening at once. Some were tied to Kang, some weren't tied to anything yet, and others existed pretty much on their own. Without a strong central storyline guiding everything, many films felt like side quests. There's also the reality of the box office landscape changing. Audiences became more selective about what they watched in theaters. Superhero fatigue started creeping in, especially when people felt like they'd seen similar formulas many times already. Meanwhile, other genres made big comebacks, and streaming gave viewers more options at home. In that environment, Marvel's weaker movies didn't just underperform, they stood out more. Even the characters contributed to the shift. For years, the MCU was anchored by iconic heroes like Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, and Thor. Losing several of them at once left the universe without a clear center. The newer heroes had big shoes to fill, and viewers didn't bond with all of them immediately. It's not easy to replace characters people spent a decade growing attached to. But it's important to say this too, the MCU isn't completely sinking. When Marvel delivers something strong like Spider-Man, No Way Home, or Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 fans show up. Those movies remind people why they loved the franchise in the first place. It proves the audience isn't gone. They're just more selective now. They want better storytelling, more focus, and characters they can root for again. Marvel seems to be adjusting. They've slowed down their release schedule, given more attention to quality, and are working on bigger crossover events that could give the MCU direction again. If they can bring back that sense of progression and tighten the storytelling, they can absolutely recover. Fans aren't asking for another Endgame every year, they just want stories that feel meaningful, consistent, and worth getting excited about. Whether Marvel gets back to its former glory depends on how well it balances new ideas with what made people care in the first place. The potential is still there, the question is whether they can rebuild the momentum.